let's start with you, Cor. Of course, we know you from the books that you have published, the end of the shop, for example. So you are the person to ask the first question, because we're going to do this in 3 segments: the digital landscape, to some best practices, and how is your organization dealing with personalization. So when it comes to the landscape, is personalization a big trend? Is that something that you as a researcher, as an academic, also see?
It's not so much personalization, it has to do with the customer. A customer is very individual, everything he does. They're very lonely, basically, so they're looking for authenticity,
right.
To link themselves to things. We call it rewiring the brains on the moment of customers. We all have the influence of internet, so you can see we can't focus anymore. We are multitasking the whole time. We get very impatient. We get also very aggressive about everything we do, aggressive emotions, which you can see in the traffic.
Right.
We don't listen anymore to mass media. We want to be known as a person. And to be known as a person, you need personalization.
Right.
And then you see, for instance, big data. It has to be moment driven. So the message has to be at the right time, at the right moment. I completely agree with it. So we have a big challenge there to be personal. I don't believe so much we get a revival of email, because email is very old fashioned. Email is still writing a letter on an electronic medium.
Megan, welcome.
Hello.
Also to the stage. You work at Razorfish.
I do.
I think a company or an agency that many of us know and perhaps even admire. You're sort of a veteran also, because you worked like 8 years there.
Yes, I've been at Razorfish for 8 years.
Right.
2 in America. I'm American, obviously. And I came to London to build up their media team over the last 6 years. And my media team is around paid, owned, and earned media.
Like how many people are?
About 40 people or
40
so. And we're
people
the hub for Europe for Razorfish Media.
Right. And if you look at the last 8 years, do you see this shift that Cor is mentioning, that people, that's too much, I need a filter, and that turns out to be personalization?
Oh, definitely. We always have to put the customer at the heart. But for marketers, to start with why it's important to them, there's 3 main reasons. The first reason is because it's a highly competitive marketplace right there. Also, the second reason is consumers are giving up their data, and they have no problem with that. There's a ton of data out there to actually...
Do they even know that they're giving up?
Yeah, I mean, consumers now are willing to give up their data so long as brands provide something useful to them, and brands provide utility to them, and brands add value to their lives. So consumers are very willing to do that. And another thing is that, and this is a perfect for our Adobe conversation, is there is technology available for personalization that is cost efficient and easy to implement, like we've seen from the other speakers. So those are 3 reasons why marketers are doing this and need to do it. And then as far as consumers, again, they want a personalized experience. Gone are the days when the broadcast media and the broadcast mass marketing is kind of the key stakeholder in your marketing plan. What should be happening is actually an engagement strategy, with mass marketing being kind of the amplification factor. And so that's where I think things are moving.
And do you guys at Razorfish even do mass media campaigns?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you say about mass media. We're a pure play digital agency. So I think in the past, and this is a really interesting topic, is in the past, we've done a lot of kind of mass paid media as probably the cornerstone of all of our clients' marketing plans. But as we see the shift in the social space and with SEO and engagement, and brands becoming publishers and brands becoming content leaders, I think what we're doing with our brands is trying to enable them to move away from mass marketing and more into engagement strategies. And that's a core philosophy that puts the consumer at the heart, and also that we build our Razorfish Media brand around globally.
Right. Well, talking about a global brand, that's a nice bridge to you, Lonneke. Lonneke Vink, when I looked you up on LinkedIn, you have like the coolest title, because it says... I own Philips.com.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, huh?
That's pretty cool, but what does that mean?
I'm the boss.
Yeah.
But it basically means I'm the boss.
Yeah, you're the boss.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
No, not entirely, because basically the consumer is the boss. And I look at consumer data. We get a lot of insights through our normal website analytics, through surveys that we run continuously.
Right.
And combining that with our strategic business objectives, I define a roadmap And we work in an agile way at Philips. And there's also the title product owner coming from.
Right.
So, and I define then...
Are you a Scrum Master also?
That's also, I'm not a Scrum Master. You can only be one role in Agile.
Okay.
So you cannot be product owner and Scrum Master.
My bad.
So, and as product owner, I basically, it's very interesting. A colleague of me actually said recently to me, it's really amazing. And in one day, even within 1 hour, I shift from strategic objectives to talking to developers about implementing user stories and the requirements of particular user stories that define changes on a website.
Right. Yeah, and like Megan and Cor have reflected on this, saying, you know, marketeer thinks personalization is a top priority, but the customer, how is that with Philips, with the ordinary Philips customer?
I very much like what Megan was saying about adding value, because for me, personalization, you shouldn't do it because we think or an industry thinks that you should do personalization. You should do it
But
only...
are you making steps towards a personalized experience?
We surely are. But I would rather say we make steps towards creating a more low-effort journey for a consumer. We put a lot of effort in quantifying the consumer decision journey. So basically listing key consumer decision journeys for categories in particular markets, and then defining how can we make that journey then for the consumer low effort. And low effort meaning that we make it personally relevant for them.
It starts with profiling then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Earlier this day, the Alibaba has been mentioned. How do they come into this game? Like Amazon was an intruder last year. We said, is Alibaba do they have plans for like personalization?
Not as far as I know, but Alibaba is a big game changer. In America, they even talk about reinventing internet. And I've been talking with reinventing internet.
Wow.
And I've been talking to people at shop.org, and I've been talking to people at Amazon, and they're really, really nervous. They decided to go really to invest in all the markets, trying to improve their service, which they are doing quite now by building warehouses so they have a delivery within an hour, by improving the drone delivery, so it can be really quick. And Jeff Bezos has decided nobody's allowed to say anything anymore within Amazon about Alibaba, and he's going to invest very heavily in it all. And what they have said, Amazon was attacking the retailers, but Alibaba is attacking the web shops. And now you can ask yourself, what will be the future of Amazon in this case? Because Amazon is always cheaper. They don't have stocks, they don't have investments. They have cut out all the costs in the supply chain. So the prices are on average between 50% of the normal retailers, including Amazon. And that's reinventing internet. So it's really exciting. What I've seen in America last week or 2 weeks ago in Seattle, the really exciting is going to happen now.
All right. Megan.
Yes.
Well, I promised the audience that we would also be sharing some best practices. Is there a case or a client or something you've done that touches this subject that you're...
Definitely. So we have a US-based client, Delta, who probably best suited as best case scenario for what we've done. And Delta Airlines,
right.
yes,
We know,
a big client. And we really tackled personalization looking at the website, but also through the whole user journey in every single touch point. So we were able to look at what the consumer was doing basically in the social space, what they were speaking about on the owned assets for Delta Airlines. So on their Facebook pages and on their websites, we were actually able to track kind of what they're doing, clicking on banners, what they're doing in paid search, paid own and earn, taking all of that information and providing kind of the real-time data and the real-time messaging and personalization. So when someone goes in to log on to their for their flight, automatically it's a personalized kind of landing page, a personalized website for them. And actually a tool that Publicis, my holding group as Razorfish, and Adobe actually came together and produced is called Always On Marketing Platform.
And you mentioned you have like 40 colleagues, a team. And
I do, based in London.
And I imagine that 8 years ago you hired search engine optimizers a lot. You were looking for them.
Yeah.
What are skills or backgrounds that you're looking for right now?
That's a good question because I'm doing my 2015 planning and it's crazy. Because again, like I said before, I truly believe, and Razorfish Media truly believes that I think there is a role for mass and broadcast advertising and marketing. I know at Razorfish, I think strategy is a core part of our agency. And so we look for strategic people. We look for people who know how to create content. So, thinking about broadcast, TV producers, and TV actually has the best content sometimes. So we get people from that background who want to move digital. And I think also the millennial generation, I mean, I'm kind of on the cusp, I'm an older millennial, but this is their everyday lives. They know it in and out. This is how they communicate. And so I love to hire millennials because they do it by themselves in their own time and they can do it at work and they're very good at it.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Cor, but you're not going to be hired as Razorfish. Just and Lonneke,
Me neither, by the way.
yeah. Today's theme is reinvention. There's been a lot of talk about changing the organization. I can imagine that Philips is such a large organization, such a global brand with many stakeholders. How do you get things done there in your department?
It's slow going. I've been working at Philips now for a good 6.5 years. And if I see the maturity level of digital 6 years ago, we really made huge leaps there, really. What we're now implementing is a capability training which is implemented across the entire organization. So not just focusing
Capability training for whom?
It's digital capabilities, so search, content, campaign. There are 6 in total, or actually 7, I should say. And we are
for people other than at marketing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So you're breaking down silos.
Yeah, absolutely. And the idea is indeed that we feel that digital goes beyond the typical marketing communications manager or the typical marketeer, or even within marketing. A lot of people would say, I'm a product marketer or I'm a category owner. I don't really need to be worried about digital, and we are involving them as well, both on a central level and on a local level, to embrace digital and to make it part of their normal work. But it takes a lot of time. It really takes a lot of time. It's going faster than 6 years ago already.
All right. And I think the time is like crazy right now. So I would like to give the last words to the professor. Are you hopeful for this audience for the future? Are they going to make a lot of money?
Of course.
And why?
Because we start a new era right now. We have to reinvent internet, so also reinvent organizations and reinvent our product offerings. If you really look good at the customer, the behavior of the customer, and you develop your organization and your product and service around it, what Alibaba has done, because he was only a teacher in English, and now he's the richest people in China.
Yeah.
If he can do it, why can't we?
Yes.
If he can do it, why can't you? Well, I think these are great words to end this way too short panel session, but I'd like to thank you again for coming in and sharing your knowledge. Cor Molenaar, Megan Harris, and Lonneke Vink. Thanks a lot.